Hello, everybody. This is your main man, Keith, here from Keith Plays PS4 927. Happy Wednesday morning to all my awesome viewers on this awesome channel. Today, we are in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference first round playoffs for our 2012-13 Road to the NBA Finals series, and we are currently leading over the Miami Heat. The 99-2000 Toronto Raptors 3-0. So if we win today's episode, we will sweep the series and the Raptors will not advance. However, if Toronto wins today's episode, we will have one more game in the Eastern Conference first round if we win the next game after this episode. So it's going to be really exciting. I can't wait. So without a further ado, I'm going to show you the uniforms and we'll see you in the tip-off. Alright, so the Miami Heat are going to be wearing their black 2012-13 uniforms. I know the traditional ones do say Classic Away 09-07. It just has the word Heat on it. But what they actually wore back in the 2012-13 season said the word Miami on the black jerseys. So for the Toronto Raptors, they're going to be wearing their classic home 99 through 2003 uniforms. So we'll see you into tip-off. Alright, Toronto is home and they have won the tip-off. So now Vince Carter has possession of the basketball. He is going to go up in the paint, makes that dunk in for 2 points. So now Chris Bosh going to pass it over to Mario Chalmers, and Dwayne Wade, who is your player for last episode, makes the dunk there. So it's now 2-0 Miami on the road. So now Vince Carter is on the court. So what's he going to do? Is he going to do another layup, passing it over to Tracy McGrady? So now VC is going to pick up an assist. So now LeBron James, the Akron, Ohio native, drills a three from behind the arc. So it's now a 5-4 Miami lead. So now McGrady going to pass it over to Carter. Carter gets this one in from mid-range. So it's now 6-5 Toronto. And now Chris Bosh, he's going to pass it over to James, and then Mario Chalmers, and he actually misses that three. So Charles Oakley is going to pick up that rebound, and it is Toronto going up in the paint, gets it in. It's now 8-5. So the Heat are trailing by 3 points. So this is the first time in the whole series that the Heat have trailed in an episode. So now LeBron James gets it in there. So it's now 8-7 here in Toronto. So they're going to pass it over to Charles Oakley, makes a dunk there. So it's now 10-7. So we got to make this game tied. So we're going to pass it over to the Duke product, Shane Battier, and he's going to knock down a three. So now it is going to evenly tie up the game, 10-10. So now they're going to pass it over to Vince Carter. And now Vince Carter losing the basketball. Antonio Davis picking it up. Going to pass it over to Charles Oakley. And then Brown gets it in there. So it's now 12-10. And we've only missed one field goal in the whole episode. So now Bosh going to pass it over to James. And LeBron James with that layup. So it's now evenly tied up, 12-12. We are going to take a break. Alright, so it's now 20-18. Now we got Mario Chalmers. He is going to go up in the paint and make that dunk in. Alright, so now D. Brown has possession of the basketball. So it's evenly tied up, 20-20 here in Toronto. So now D. Brown ties the game up. So now we're going to pass it over to Ray Allen and then some Mario Chalmers, who evidently was added onto the roster, and he missed that one. So Willis going to pass it over to Brown, and then Tracy McGrady, who would eventually play with the Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic, gets it in there. And we are down by 4 points whatsoever. I'm going to pass it over to Chalmers. He loses the basketball, picks it back up, gets it in there. So it's a 24-22 Toronto lead. And we are going to actually end the first quarter here. So Toronto is up by 2 points. Alright, it is now 24-22. 15 points off of assists for Toronto, and 12 points are in the paint. So now D-Wade gonna make that 3 fly for the 2012-13 Miami Heat. And now it is Alvin Williams with the possession. Dwayne Wade picks up the steal. He is gonna make a dunk in the paint. It is now a 27-24. So the Miami Heat have taken the lead for the first time. Muggsy Boggs, the shortest player in NBA history, gets that in for 2. So the biggest lead was Toronto by 4. 7 lead changes and 4 ties evidently. So now Mario Chalmers going to pass it over to Aaron Bynes. Why did 2K put Aaron Bynes and Jeff Teague on the 2012-13 Heat, even though they never played for that team back at that season? I mean, they may not have had the whole rights to all the players that played for that team. So now D-Wade makes the dunk there. So it's now 32-26. And now Williams, he's going to pass it over to Muggsy Boggs. He gets blocked. Baines picking up that rebound. Going to pass it over to Dwayne Wade. And D-Wade makes the dunk. And the Raptors are taking a timeout. All right, so it's now 35-34. Toronto has bounced back to get into the lead. So now LeBron James, the Akron, Ohio native, gets that one in for 2. So that's now a 1-point lead for the 2012-13 Miami Heat. Del Curry, who is Steph Curry's father, going to pass it over. Passes it to McGrady first, and he gets that in. So the 2012-13 Heat are taking a timeout. We're just changing out our game plan situation. All right, so it's now 37-36. D-Wade, and there is a foul. It's on Dwayne Wade. It's a charging foul. So he charged against D. Brown, and I thought that would be like a kind of like a tackle in football. So now Vince Carter losing the basketball, and Toronto still picks it up. So Doug Christie, what's he going to do? Going to pass it or maybe just shoot it from behind the arc? And he actually gets it in. So it's now 36-40. Going to pass it over to LeBron James, losing the basketball. Vince Carter passing over to D. Brown, and Vince Carter picks up an assist. So now there is 1 minute to go in this first half. And LeBron James is going to knock down a 3 for the Heat. And it's now going to be 39-42. So we just need a 3-pointer to tie this game up evenly again. So now Vince Carter, he is going to knock down a 3. Actually misses that. And Shane Battier picks it up for the Heat. So now Shane Battier is going to get this one in the paint. So it's now 42-41. And Vince Carter has possession of the basketball. Where is he going to take this direction to? He's going to pass it over to Willis. So now Vince Carter has an assist. He has assists on his mind today, and he's thinking about dunking the ball so many times. So now I'm going to pass it over to Juwan Howard, who's actually started his career with the Washington Bullets. Makes that dunk in there in the paint. So now Toronto is up by 1 point. So Toronto does not want to lose any games because they don't want to be swept. And this is just the first round. So there's probabilities for each team coming into the NBA Finals, who's going to make it and who will not. And from the looks of it, Toronto didn't do so hot in the winning game. So evidently, so it's 5.5 seconds to go. We're going to pass it over to the Akron, Ohio native, LeBron James. Gets it in there, but we trail by 1 with 0.9 seconds to go. Vince Carter dribbling it. It is halftime. The score right now is the Toronto Raptors 48, the Miami Heat 47. All right, so it is now the beginning of the third quarter here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So we're going to pass it around. Going to pass it over to LeBron James. Going to make that 3 fly, and it's now 50-48. So the Raptors only need 2 points to tie this game up. So now Vince Carter is going to go in the, pretty close to the paint there. Evenly tied this up. It's now 50-50. So there's a 50-50 chance that the Heat will win and a 50-50 chance that the Toronto Raptors will win. So now Battier got it in there for 2 points, so it's now 52-50. Tracy McGrady dribbling on the court for the Toronto Raptors. He is going to go up and gets that in the paint, so it's now tied up 52-52. McGrady was 7 points in this episode. And LeBron James gets it in there, so it's now 54-52. And now they're going to pass it over to Vince Carter. So now Vince Carter, he's going to dribble this one in and gets that layup in the paint. So the Heat are going to take a timeout. All right, so now Del Curry going to pass it over to Muggsy Bogues. So now Muggsy Bogues is going to go up in the paint. Gets it in there for 2 points. So it's now 62-54. Minute 50 to go in the third quarter. We're going to pass it over to Mike Miller. And Miller gets that layup in there. So it's now 62-56. 81% for the 2012-13 Miami Heat. And 92% for the 99-00 Raptors. So they missed that. Rashard Lewis going to pick up that rebound. Going to pass it over to Mike Miller. And then Mario Chalmers going to get that up in there for 2 points. So it's now 62-58 evidently. So now Vince Carter going to pass it over to Del Curry and then Muggsy Bogues. And the Raptors take a timeout. Alright, so now Antonio Davis going to pass it over to Doug Christie, then back to Davis, and then Muggsy Bogues with the possession going to pass it over to Vince Carter. So now Vince Carter gets it in there for 2, so it's now 64-58. 16 first half points for Vince Carter. He was 88%, so now Dwayne Wade making the Air Jordan dunk, so it's now 64-60. And the Toronto Raptors are taking their first lead out of the whole game. And now LeBron James, 27 points today for Vince Carter, and 12 of which were in the paint. So Rashard Lewis made a dunk there. So it's now going to be 66-62. And now Muggsy Bogues is going to pass it over to Vince Carter. So will Vince Carter actually pick up a 3 there? So Muggsy Bogues, he's going to pass it over to Doug Christie. Going to pass it over to Willis. And now Willis, he gets that in there. So it's now 68-62. We're going to pass it over to LeBron James, the Akron, Ohio native. And the Akron, Ohio native makes that 3 fly. It's now 21.2 seconds to go, 68-65. Vince Carter with the possession of the basketball. And now Vince Carter is going to make his famous dunks happen. So it's now going to be 65-70. We're going to pass it over to LeBron James. Going to get that in there. So now, by the looks of it, it looks like that Vince Carter will probably be the player of the game. He is going to make a 3 fly, and he does. So it's now 67-73. Going to pass it over to LeBron James. Gets it in, but the official review, they're going to try to make it official. So now, did LeBron James get that in the paint? So they're taking an official replay review from Secaucus, New Jersey, which is right outside of New York City. I am not familiar with that area, by the way. By the looks of it, there were 0.7 seconds, and then LeBron James got that in there, and once it hit 0-0, he had gotten that in, and that's when the buzzer beater noise began. And I'm probably going to say it's a no, that he did not get this in. So this is game 4 of the Eastern Conference first round playoffs. So the call is overturned, and we actually do get that in. So oddly enough, that was probably a late April Fool's joke that they played on us. So we are trailing by 4. Toronto leads at 73-69. All right, your State Farm assist of the game is coming right up. here for the Toronto Raptors. So now Vince Carter passed it over to Tracy McGrady. Now that was the player, the assist of the game. So now Vince Carter with the possession of the basketball. What is he going to do? He is going to make his famous dunks happen again. 34 points for Vince Carter. The rest of the team has scored 41 already. So now they're going to pass it over to Chris Bosh, who was not featured in 2K20 for this classic team for some weird reason. They must not have had the naming rights to Bosh. He might not have had the rights to do so. But now D Brown has possession, going to pass it over to Vince Carter. So now Vince Carter makes a two-pointer happen. So it's now 36 to 28. 36 points for Vince Carter, and it's going to be 30 for LeBron James since he got that layup in there. So it's now 30 for him today. And it looks like Vince Carter is going to pass it over to Antonio Davis. Carter is going to pick up that assist. So now we're going to pass it over to Shane Battier, and Battier gets it in there, but there's a foul. It's on Charles Oakley, by the way, and Battier, he's going to go to the free throw line. Will he get it in there? Yes, he will. It's now 76 to 79, so now Charles Oakley's going to pass it over to Vince Carter, and now Vince Carter's going to pass it over to Tracy McGrady. McGrady going to pass it over, and it is Charles Oakley who picks up that offensive rebound. So now Oakley gets it in there, and it's now 81 to 79. 12 lead changes, 7 ties, and the biggest lead was Toronto by 8. So now we're going to pass it over to Ray Allen, who was also a member of the 2008 Boston Celtics NBA Finals championship team. So now Vince Carter has possession of the basketball. Where is he going to take this direction to? Going to pass it over to D Brown, and it's now 83 to 79. So now Miller going to pass it over to Ray Allen, and then Shane Battier gets it in there. So it's now 83 to 81. 86%. They've been improving from the last time we saw the field goal statistics. We were at 81. But an 81 is still a B. That's not bad, because anything over 80% is considered a B. Well, 90% is an A. So anywhere from 80 to 89 is a B. Toronto is taking a timeout, and we'll show you the player of the game, and we're going to take a break. Vince Carter is your player of the game for the Toronto Raptors. I will explain the numbers after the game, though. But now, Vince Carter, he's made dominant threes. He's been claiming assists off and on. So we are actually going to take a break. So now he actually gets it in there, and it's now 83 to 81. Score was 85-83, excuse me. 41 points for Vince Carter, and he's only played like 12 minutes today. Shane Battier going to pass it over to LeBron James. So now LeBron James, the Akron, Ohio native, makes a three from behind the arc. So it's now 92 to 88. So now Vince Carter has possession of the basketball. So now Vince Carter is going to make a three. Actually misses that three. But now we got Mario Chalmers going to pass it over to Wade, and then James going to pass it over to Wade again, and then Bosh, and then James loses the basketball. McGrady picks it up. So now D Brown, there is a foul on Chris Bosh, so it's a shooting foul evidently, and now it is Toronto going to go to the free throw line, and Vince Carter is going to make that first one in. That first free throw attempt in, and now there's 24 seconds on the shot clock, but there's only 41.6 seconds to go in the whole game. So we're just going to dribble this one out maybe here in the Air Canada Center. So we're going to pass it over to Mario Chalmers, and then going to pass it over to James, and then Wade. We're going to try to make it where the word Canada and center belong. So now there is a foul. Shane Battier, and now D Brown is going to go to the free throw line, And this evidently means that the Heat are going to take their second to last time out of the game. 23.3 seconds to go. All right, and Del Curry makes a three fly, and the game is over. And the Toronto Raptors have won their first game of this series. So the final score is the 99-00 Toronto Raptors 102, the 2012-13 Miami Heat 88. So we have lost our first game of the playoffs, which is okay because we don't want to lose too much, and that would miss out on our opportunity in making the NBA Finals happen. All right, Vince Carter, 43 points, 6 assists, 2 steals on the day, 4 dunks for him today. 5 for 7 from behind the arc. D. Brown, 12 points, 4 assists on the day for him. Tracy McGrady, 12 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. Del Curry, he had 9 points, all 3-pointers, by the way. He had a rebound and an assist for Toronto today. Muggsy Boggs had 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist there. And we're going to move on over to the 2012-13 Heat. That is us. LeBron James, 35 points, 1 assist on the day. He did have 5 for 6 from behind the arc. Yeah, it sounded like 6. Dwayne Wade, 16 points, 7 assists, 2 steals on the day. He had 5 dunks. Shane Battier had 12 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists on the day for him. Ray Allen, 7 points, 1 assist. Mario Chalmers, 6 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists, 1 steal on the day. So this wraps it up here in Toronto. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next episode.